everyone, and welcome back to Super Mario 64, Yahoo! On the Nintendo 64. I am One Wild Sheep yet again, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin basically the beginning of the end game, where we're going to actually head on up to the final floor of the castle once and for all, and finish off the last couple of worlds of the game, and basically lay the good old smack down onto King Koopa Bowser himself. And I have actually off-screen got all of the coin stars, so I've gotten all 120 stars on a separate save file. I decided not to show them off in this playthrough because it's a very tedious, long, and boring process that I didn't really want to show off you guys. So, yeah, basically on a separate playthrough, I went through each and every one of these stages, and I got 100 coins and got an extra additional stars, which basically gave me an extra 15 stars on top of the extra load I get. But before we move into the next world, just talk to this Toad real quick, and he will give you yet another Power Star. Wahoo! Wow, it's another Power Star. Mario gains some more carriage. Yeah, oh boy. Oh boy. But speaking of old boy, that's basically my reaction with this next world. This is Tick-Tock Clock. And this world's kind of interesting in how it handles things, because if we look at the minute hand that's rotating around the clock, depending on where the hand is on the clock face itself, will actually change this level. If it lands on a 12 and you enter the stage, then the stage itself will be completely motionless, it'll be stopped. If you land it on a 3, all the obstacles in the stage will actually move slowly, and so on and so forth, so it keeps ramping up then. And generally, for the most part, I always advise going into this stage on a 3, with the exception of one specific star, in which case you're going to want to stop the entire stage from moving. But first things first, let's roll into the cage. And I really hope you guys are very fond of the sliding music. That's it, assuming you can hear it properly, because the next couple of stages in this game, the only song that they have is just the slide music. It's just the music when you go down slides, and I like this song, but it drives me bloody mad having to hear it over and over and over and over again. It's just... I love these last couple of levels because they're good challenges as well. Like, they're really good platforming challenges, but I'll be damned if the music doesn't do my Sweden, if I'm gonna be honest. But of course, everything's gonna be really tricky from this point onwards. You have to deal with some very good timed platforms to climb on. Whenever you see these platforms in particular move slightly, they're about to rotate. So whenever you see that happen, well, basically move out the way, otherwise I'll pim. Otherwise, you're gonna fail. First of many deaths in this level, I'll tell you that much, ladies and gentlemen, because this stage is it's a tricky one. Hoi. There we go, and we are back. Anyway, as I was trying to explain about the stage, I actually do really like I do like the aesthetics and everything of the stage. Like, I love the whole theme of going inside this massive clock and basically platforming and timing all your platforms and stuff. But on one hand, while I like all the aesthetics and I like the level design of the stage, again, the music just drives me mad. I'm getting sick and tired of hearing the pew 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 song, and again, you may not be able to hear it too well on the YouTube video itself, because I suck at audio editing, but I don't know, it's just not particularly fond of it, what can I tell you? But we already got the first Power Star of the stage, and the Power Stars themselves they're relatively easy to find for the most part. There's only like maybe 1 or 2 Power Stars in this stage that you're probably going to have trouble with, and they're largely because the only reason you'll have trouble with them is probably either finding them, because some of the stars require you to go a little bit off the beaten path, and it's a little bit tricky as a result, so you have to do, like, you might have saw a giant clock hand there, it's just clipping into the screen. There's a Power Star right over there, which I'll be picking up a bit later on, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Or is it now? Wait, which star is this? The Pit and the Pendulums. Alright, so it's a bit further up I'm going. Again, I'm going to be doing all these power stars in the order that they're listed in the, in the mission select screen, just for the sake of, making things easy for people who want to use this playthrough as a walkthrough, God knows why you'd want to use my Let's Play as a walkthrough. I'm a muttering mess for most of it, but well, I'm not complaining. I'm just happy I have people watching, to be honest. What can I tell ya? What can I tell ya? Indeed! Yes, but basically we need to run right over here, and this is an area of the stage that I always forget exists. And trust me, you don't want to forget this area exists, because there is a blue coin switch right by there. You move out of the way, Pendulum. There we go. And when you're doing 100 coin stars, you basically need to find this area and hit that, otherwise you just physically won't be able to get enough coins. So, that's one little nitpick. In fact, one of the biggest nitpicks I have to say about this game, well, it's not even a nitpick, it's just, I hate doing 100 coin missions. Like, they're just really terrible to go through and boring and bland and ugh. I'm really just not too fond of them, what can I tell you? Now, you will only ever see me go in this stage whenever the minute hand is either on the 12 or the 3, because if it gets on 6 or 9, I tend to find the stage goes too fast for my platforming skills, so, I'm a bit of a pleb in that regard. Like, seriously, when you go from 3 to 6, the speed of the entire stage just triples, it seems like, so... And I can't even make basic jumps either, so that doesn't help. So, it's, kind of frustrating, what can I tell ya? There we go, that's more like it. I almost died a second time then, that would have been, very, not good for my gamer reputation. But for this section, by here, get a hand, we need to wait. And, that's basically it, we just need to wait for this hand to run around. This is probably the mission where it's better, I suppose. Look at that thing popping in and out of existence. It's probably better on this mission to go into the highest speed clock, but again, I'd much rather not risk it, so, I'm just going to speed things up a little bit. Right, and we are back. Anyway, also one thing I want to say about the stage in particular as well. This is probably the worst stage, or one of the worst stages at least, when it comes to the camera. And it's largely because we're in this massive tower that's really enclosed, and I tend to find that in this level, the camera tends to stick onto loads of unnecessary things, and sometimes I find it just really awkward to angle, because obviously the camera moves in these 8 directions as opposed to like having a full freeform camera. So I usually find it insanely difficult for depth perception, and find it insanely difficult just to do basic jumps on occasions, So this is probably the worst offending level when it comes to the camera control. It is an absolute nightmare at times, what can I tell you? But basically we're just riding this hand all the way over here until we get to the power star itself. And again, I did this the really slow way, but are you... Why? And I'm back after that stupid ass fluff, and I guess that was kind of like a perfect example of what I was alluding to, like, for some reason the depth perception in a stage is just an absolute nightmare. I can never figure out how far I'm meant to jump to get to a certain point. I can never figure out exactly, I just have a lot of trouble figuring out how far I need to jump for each individual portion of the stage, ladies and gentlemen, so... And granted, that's probably entirely my own fault, but it's still an issue I have with the level. I will be perfectly honest, though, this is... Oh god, this stage, I have to go all the way up to the top of the Soaring Tower. I will be honest about this level, though I do love the platforming. It has some really well done platforming, it's very solidly designed. It's just... The limitations of, of this being a really early platformer, they just show a little bit, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, I think this stage is perfectly well done. I have no real complaints about the level design. In fact, I would probably say this is probably better than the actual final normal world we'll be going to, which I have a couple of problems with, and it's only just due to tediousness of it, which I'll talk about in the next part when we actually get to that world. But basically, the final stage of the game, I'm not a big fan of, I'll be perfectly honest, but, yeah, without any further ado, we just basically need to climb to the very tip-top of this tower, ladies and gentlemen, which, it's not too difficult to do, and whenever you get to that pole there, if you manage to climb to the top of that pole before jumping off, the game will always award you with a 1-up mushroom, which is something I'm happy about, because Jesus Christ, is it stressful when you lose all your lives for silly reasons, you know? In fact, it actually helped me out quite a bit when I was doing, like, my test run of the stage, because, well, I kept dying during my test run of the level, but somehow, through some sort of miracle, I was able to... Ow, that's not how you meant to platform up there. Through some sort of miracle, I was able to amass, like, 20-something lives, and I have no idea how I was able to do that, because getting a lot of lives in this game is actually really challenging to do, so... I don't know. I digress. And it doesn't help that the live count also resets every time you restart the game, which is, it's an issue I have for a lot of Mario games. Like, I think, like, even up until, like, Super Mario Brothers on the Wii, this is still an issue, and it drives me bloody batshit insane, I'll be perfectly honest, but, anyway, with these conveyor belt platforms by here, be careful whenever you are grabbing onto the edge of them, because when you're grabbing on the edge of them, you can still be slid off from the, well, the thing. It is a moving platform after all, so be a little bit cautious about that. That's all I can really say. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? And these platforms are surprisingly difficult to land on and jump off because, well, generally they're spinning constantly. And it's just a nightmare to get your footing sometimes. Other times you can get through those platforms without a, without a care in the world. But other times you'll get through the stage and suddenly it's just like, why? That's a good example of why, because I'll be honest, that jump was entirely my own fault. But still, like, again, I like this stage, but it does have its fair share of frustrating issues. What can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen? What can I tell you? Indeed. Right. Well, the good news is we made it to the top of the tower. The bad news is we gotta wait again. Oh, the joys. Actually, I think there's a... Is there a 1-up in here? Yes, it is. Awesome sauce. There we go. Perfect. It's gonna make things a little bit less frustrating for me. And usually whenever you're waiting for, like, the hand to come around, I would recommend going to, like, this corner by here, or corners far away from those black things, whatever they're called. Because, well, if you're far enough away from them, they won't spit out the fire. If they won't spit out the fire, then you can't get burned. You know? I mean, I'm Super Mario, and I'm talking over video game footage for the internet. I'm already a very hot person. I don't need to be put on fire, okay? Thanks. Hoi. Riveting gameplay! Like I said, this does go a lot faster if you go into the other time periods on the clock, but it's a lot more difficult, so I usually just bite the bullet and go through that rather slowly, but with that's done. Hell yeah! Timed jumps on moving bars. Alright, so, time jumps and moving bars. Time jumps and moving bars. This one's a bit of a tricky mission to, not so much to do, but it's a tricky mission in order to figure out where to go, because the actual location where we're meant to do our platforming to get up, it's a little bit hidden in a way. Like, it's easy to get to, but it's hidden off thanks to the way the camera works, and it can be tricky to find, basically, ladies and gentlemen. That's mainly what I'm getting at, but fortunately, I am the one, well, sheep. I'm a guy that talks over video game footage for the internet, so you can trust me, I'll find it, and I'll let you know where to go. Actually, I say talks over video game footage for the internet like this is all pre-recorded. This is one of those playthroughs I'm actually doing live, if you can't tell from my stupid failures already, but yeah. Like, I've been really getting into doing the whole live Let's Play thing recently. Like, before I used to not really bother. if you know, I used to not really bother doing like live commentaries or live playthroughs of games too much because I had more freedom when it came to, well, not so much more freedom, but I had a lot more easier time editing when I did things post-commentary. But recently I sort of grown a fondness for doing things live again, and it brings me back to the older days of YouTube, because I've been on multiple YouTube channels throughout the course, look, ever since 2007? I think I initially made a YouTube channel, so, I've been doing this whole Let's Play thing for years on separate channels. A lot of my older Let's Plays have disappeared. They lost to time, unfortunately, so don't ask for them, ladies and gentlemen. But, anyway, these are the moving bars we need to platform up. It's not too tricky a sequence. If you find it too difficult to actually jump up those platforms, you can actually progress and, platform up to there and just long jump across. It makes things a little bit easier, but there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. There's another power star in the bag. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to go into the clock where the hand is at 12, because now we need to stop time for the red coins. And this is, I'm going to say without a doubt, this is the easiest mission in the entire stage. And game, why didn't time stop? Hang a sec, the time should have stopped. Did I just do it stupid or something? There we go, it worked this time. I don't know why it didn't last time. Maybe I can't exactly look back at the footage right now. I probably jumped in this thing while just not really paying proper attention to the actual clock itself. But anyway, yeah, when the minute hand is basically on the 12, you basically walk in here and bada bing, bada boom. Everything's stopped, all the time is stopped, and it makes this a really easy star to get. Also kind of frustrating because the jumps they're harder to make than they look. It's one of those weird instances where you do need to be pretty damn precise in order to make these jumps, but it doesn't look like you need to be precise. It looks like any old sod can actually make them. But no, trust me, these jumps are a little bit more tricky than they look. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're still easy. Like I said, this is the easiest mission in the entire stage, but, don't fret, basically, if you struggle to get them, because you'll have plenty of tries. But there we go! There's the final power star of this world in the bag. Bada bing, a bada boom! Hell to the yeah! And of course, before we do move on into the final real world of the game, we do have a bonus level to go to. If you recall those secret castle stars, well, there's basically one last secret castle star over yonder in that room. So just do a trusty triple jump. Ah, delicious. Actually, one thing I will always say, I am mentioned, I do love the animation when Mario lands these sword jumps. He's just like, huzzah, look at me, I'm Super Mario, bitches. I don't know, I always like that sort of like, yeah, I just did that. So what, a bitch? But anyway, go in here, and it's time for the final hidden star challenge of this stage. And basically, we need to get the wing cap, and it's a flying challenge. Now, one thing that annoys me greatly about this flying challenge is right from the get-go, we need to go and try and find the pink Bob-omb, which is actually right down by here, so it's easy enough to find. But if you fall off the clouds, if you just fall into the pit below, you don't lose a life. But you will respawn in the castle ground, so you'll be basically sent right back to the beginning of the entire game again, so you have to run all the way back up to the top of the castle to retry it, and it's a little bit annoying, especially if you're, trying to get all the red coins and you fluff up for some reason or another, because it's, well, to be perfectly honest, it's very easy to make simple mistakes while going through the stage, because obviously the flying controls, they're somewhat imprecise. I'm gonna be honest, they're pretty imprecise, and there's no real drop shadow either when you're on these clouds, at least no noticeable one as I can tell. So, it's very easy to lose track of where you are in correlation to the platforms you're trying to land on, so it can be a little bit tricky. But yeah, you do need to basically use these cannons in order to gain enough height, because obviously when you do your typical triple jump, Mario can't get the right height he needs in order to fly and soar all the way up into the skies of the clouds, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But generally, the mission itself is quite easy to figure out where to go next, and if you're struggling or figuring out where next you're meant to go, generally a good rule of thumb is just go to each of these platforms on each, you know, connected by the rainbows, and eventually you should find exactly what you want. Okay, that might... yeah, I fluffed that up a little bit. Getting this red coin by here is probably the most frustrating one of the lot, because that's why. Oh, thankfully, I didn't actually realize there was actually a cloud down here you can jump off, so that's, you know, land on. So that actually makes things a little bit easier than I expected. I honestly thought there was no real way to, like, if you failed again that red coin, I thought you had to restart the stage, so that's something good for me to know. See? Let's Plays. They'll make you learn more about the games you love. For better or worse. But, yeah, generally this is just, you know, it's just hopping and scopping from each of the clouds until you find the red coins, basically. Actually, how many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so I need 3 more. Of course, this stage in particular as well, again, it can be a little tricky to find where all the coins are because they're located on each of these small platforms, and there's no real good way to indicate which platform, well, platforms that you've already been on previously, so, yeah, it's a little annoying. I'll be perfectly honest with that. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, am I? I mean, what do you take me for? Oh, that was so close. I thought I was gonna clip right through and then just fall to the ground then. Right. Alley-oop! I want to get that red coin that's in the cloud, because there's a really oddly obnoxious red coin to pick up. You might have seen it just a second ago. Like, there's just this transparent cloud floating about, and there's a red coin. There it is, right by that. Right, let's do this. Come on, please say I've aimed enough. And, oh, I missed. Come on, Mario. Come on, Mario. I also get really paranoid about flying too far out of bounds as well, because there are invisible walls, ladies and gentlemen. So if you fly too far out of bounds, don't blame me if Mario hits an invisible wall and suddenly just goes flying into the abyss below, because it has happened before. Whew, right. Anyway, for the last 2 red coins, they're actually both on the same platform at the top, so it's just, where is it? Right, it's all the way up here somewhere. There we go. The last 2 red coins are just up here, so just fly all the way up. Bada bing, bada boom. And we should be good. Hell to the yeah! There's a number 7, and there's a number 8. Yahoo! Easy you go. What's in here? Oh, okay, it's just a 1-up. I actually figured out a good way to actually grab those 1-ups. Actually, it's a nice little hint. Whenever you see the 1-ups and they try to run away from you, before the 1-up goes to land, if you jump in the air at the right time and then do a ground pound, Mario will automatically pick it up, so it saves you a little bit of, trouble trying to pick the sodding things up, because they can be a little bit squiff at times, but, oh, please tell me I made it. Oh, that's so close. That's too close for comfort. Alright, let's get this bloody thing and get out of here. Beautiful! Beautiful! Ah! And with that, that is every single secret star of the game. So we basically just need to move on to the final world, which is actually on this other balcony over yonder here. So, you know, it's very easy to get to. It's, pretty damn neat.